Aloha mai kako, o wau no o makana, mahalo nui no ko o ko ho'olohe ana. Eia no ko'u papahana, Wishful Thinking in Paradise, the political implications of truth in Hawaii. Hi, my name is Makana. Thank you all for coming and listening. The name of my project is Wishful Thinking in Paradise, the political implications of truth in Hawaii. So on the agenda, what I'm going to try to get through today is the goal. Part one is the theories of truth that we've covered over the semester. Part two is to truth or not to truth. That is the question. Part three is going to be about the truth about the political history of Hawaii, and then finish with some concluding thoughts. So the goal of this project, what I hope that by the end of this we think about, is that the truth is a must in our engagement with others and ourselves. That's one of the things we learned during the course. Next, I'm just going to start it off by asserting that Hawaii is currently being illegally occupied by the United States. And some questions moving forward that you can think about are when did Hawaii become an independent state? What does it mean to be an independent state? And what led to the annexation of the Kingdom of Hawaii to the US? Finally, I think that a recommitment to the virtues of truth will provide recourse to the continued adoption of political false truths or wishful thinking in Hawaii. So over the course, we covered a bunch of different theories of truth, and they're all listed here. The first is the coherence theory of truth. So if our different ideas or beliefs were these individual puzzle pieces, when they all fit together, they create a coherent system, and that coherence is what makes these different beliefs or ideas true. The correspondence theory of truth is the truth of our ideas or beliefs comes from the relation of those beliefs to the reality or the facts that we find in the real world. So a rock is a rock because I can see it, and therefore it's true that that is a rock. The pragmatic theory of truth is a bunch of different formulations, but for the purpose of this presentation, one of the ways that it's thought about is that the truth is what works. It's focused on what the practical value or the cash value of ideas are. And if they're practical, then they are truth. Whatever works for us is the truth. Another theory that we covered is the deflationist or the minimalist is a subset of deflationist theory, but the bigger idea, it's based in that this the T sentences. So X is true if and only if the other side of the T sentence is true. And so one example is the Kingdom of Hawaii was overthrown if and only if the Kingdom of Hawaii was overthrown is true if and only if the Kingdom of Hawaii was indeed overthrown, which it was. And so the minimalist theory is pretty much saying that that's all it really truth is doing is it's indeed showing that whatever we say is true, and there's not really any big metaphysical thing that we need to look into. The indefinibilist theory is one that says truth can't be defined. Gottlob Frege talked about that idea, and we went over it in class over the course. It's just, saying that the truth can't be defined because it's going to become a circular definition. Every time you try to define it, you're going to have to always include truth into it, and it's going to be this regress. So it just can't be defined. Crispin Wright talked about this. There's many people that will want to say that a particular theory of truth is the way to look at truth. But Crispin Wright said, why not have a pluralistic outlook and let the different strengths of the different theories shine and apply those to the different areas of our lives that, or different studies, science, philosophy, any kind of different way that you want to look at truth, and let those things help us to understand what truth is rather than limit ourselves. So part 2, to truth or not to truth. One of the authors that we learned from over the semester was Bernard Williams, and he wrote a book called Truth and Truthfulness. One thing he said was that falsity is a fatal objection to belief. And so if you have a belief, you learn that it's false, you can't really continue to hold that belief is true once you know that it really is false. And another thing that he was big on was talking about assertions. And what he said was assertions are the direct expression of belief. When we engage with others in the world, just in our everyday lives, or whether it be professional or personal, people count on us as reliable informants that they can rely on to learn things about life. And if we don't hold beliefs that are true and we are asserting things to others, we are no longer going to be operating in circumstances of trust, and our relationships will degrade, whether it's be personal or even in the bigger picture, political, country level things. Not that that's any more important than our day-to-day lives, but it can get pretty bad. So we need to speak the truth and ensure that we are doing our due diligence to verify that our beliefs are true to the best of our ability. Michel Foucault, we did a book that talked about covered his different lectures over the course of many years towards on the later end of his life, called The Courage of the Truth. And he focused on this idea of parrhesia, which one way I think he translated it was free spokenness. And there's all kinds of ways that term can be looked at. It could be like, oh, somebody just says anything they want whenever they want, and they're free spoken, not really caring about saying things that are genuine. But in parrhesia, this parrhesiatic discourse that he argues for, that we should be engaging with, or that's an ideal way to engage with others, it's more focused on a genuine expression of what we believe to be the truth with others, and not holding things back. He talks about how it can be dangerous to ourselves if we decide to engage in this parrhesiatic discourse, because the party that we're speaking to could become hostile, violent, if what we say to them kind of like sets them off, even though it's the truth. So yeah, this parrhesiatic discourse requires us to risk ourselves. And in the modern epoch, which is that's the terminology that he uses, he talks about revolutionary discourse playing a role in contemporary life when it's being a critique of society and the different political aspects of the world. It's sometimes hard to critique countries, but getting to the part 3, the political history of the state of Hawaii, the overthrow was an illegal thing that happened that we probably all heard about, but the parties that were interested in annexing Hawaii to America colluded with the American government, a representative at the very least, to bring some troops, which is the picture I showed earlier, over to Hawaii to give them the force they needed to threaten the monarch into relinquishing their claim to the throne. The way that they did it, though, it was never, in order for one country to be annexed to another country, the requirement is that there's a treaty of annexation, and there was many attempts to make that happen, but the people of Hawaii resisted. And so eventually what happened was the American government used something called a joint resolution. What it was the Newlands Resolution. And the Newlands Resolution is a joint resolution. Sorry, I'm being repetitive, but a joint resolution is a domestic law. And so it shouldn't have any authority over another country. In the beginning, I posed that question: what does it mean to be an independent state? And independent state is a country that's being recognized by other countries. And so Hawaii was the first non-European nation to be recognized by others. And so they had all the same rights and powers that other countries did, legally speaking, maybe not military. And so America used a domestic law to take the territory of Hawaii, take Hawaii as their own territory. And that is well outside of the law. The president at the time, I believe his name was Grover Cleveland, acknowledged that the landing of American troops was an act of war on Hawaii. And that act of war initiated what international law considers a state of war. And once that state of war happened, it needed to be resolved, which it was never resolved. But the continued presence of America in Hawaii after that act of war happened is then considered occupation. And so that's why I said that Hawaii is being illegally occupied by America. The pragmatist perspective, if it works for Americans, the American government, that Hawaii is a part of America, it allows them to get monetary and political gains. They were able to have their base in Pearl Harbor, leverage all of the tourism industry, and take taxes. Many Hawaiians also benefit from America's presence currently, but majority of the institutions that, at least like the city and county type, like the Department of Education, Board of Water Supply, all of those infrastructure type organizations that help our place that we live in to run, they were already established when Hawaii was still a kingdom. And so anyway, I'm running out of time. Probably went over already, but anyway, the standard narrative that people, seems to me in the majority of the interactions I have, believe that Hawaii is indeed a state and a part of America. But if you look at the laws and the history, it's clearly not the case. And the truth is that America is illegally occupying Hawaii. And so according to what Bernard Williams and Michel Foucault teach us, we should be continuing to engage with the truth and adjust our beliefs, relinquish our false beliefs, and become reliable informants with respect to this information. And I think that's a good way to resolve the continuation of this standard narrative that Hawaii is part of America. I also wanted to talk about this idea that UH Manoa is a Native Hawaiian place of learning. In the strategic plan from 2015 to 2025 that they put out, titled Our Kuleana to Hawaii and the World, one of their vision statement is He Lamaku o Ke Aloha Aina. And within that, they talk about what Aloha Aina is, or at least what it means to them. There is a portion where they talk about Ea, and the life breath is what I think they translate it to. And how Aloha Aina is about loving the land and taking care of the resources that we have. But Aloha Aina is also if you look back to the history of it, it was a political term, which was what our people would say that they were an Aloha Aina. And that was their declaration that they were patriots of the Hawaiian kingdom. And what is currently understood to be the state motto, Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono, is regularly translated to the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. But initially, it was a statement that was made by King Kamehameha III, Kauikeauli. And when he talked about Ea, it was when he made this statement, it was a statement that was made after the control of Hawaii was returned to them following the Paulette affair. And this Ea that he talks about is not necessarily the life breath, but I mean, in a certain way it is, but what he's talking about is sovereignty, and that sovereign control of our land was returned back to us. So to say that UH Manoa is a Native Hawaiian place of learning without acknowledging that Aloha Aina is talking about being a patriot to the Hawaiian kingdom, and that Ea is talking about sovereignty, it seems to me that there may be some issues in learning about Hawaiians and their history. And so is that truly creating a place of learning for us? Furthermore, in each individual department, if this is truly the goal of the university, where is the philosophy department? What are they doing to try and become a Native Hawaiian place of learning or contribute to reaching that goal? There's been it's been I don't know what the best word to say is, but a challenging history, I guess, would be one way to say it, between the philosophy department and the Hawaiian community, stemming back to the interactions that were had between the philosophy department and Honani K. Trask. Even up till the last few years, there's been, a bunch of things that don't really seem to be efforts that are moving towards becoming a Native Hawaiian place of learning, if that's truly the goal. Anyway, so I don't know if I did a good job, but I just wanted to try and articulate to the best of my ability that we have a duty to engage with the truth, and that is not only for ourselves, but for our relationships with others, because the beliefs that we hold will inevitably be asserted to others. And if they rely on us to be informants of the truth, reliable informants, then it's our duty to ensure that we are verifying that the things that we believe and the things that we say are in fact founded in the truth. Yeah, thank you. Sorry I went too long, and please send me any questions that you have. Thank you.